Hello, hello. So, welcome back, guys. All right, this is going to be a collective message. I put one out every single day. This one is going to be for the 16th of December. I put these out a little bit in advance of when the day is, at least in my time zone, because people watch these all around the world in different time zones that are ahead of my own. So, that's why I do it this way. So, this is also the series where if you would like to throw a topic out there that you would like a storytelling be about, feel free to submit that. I'm currently still choosing from all of this great suggestions people have made. So today's topic is going to be from Monica Sykes, and Monica suggested the topic of preparing to add in a new pet or a human into one's life. So I want to keep it a little bit broader and say, Monica, by the way, I love your suggestion, but I wanted to keep it a little bit broader and say, how about if we talk about inviting, like the preparations to invite a new energy into one's life? The reason I want to broaden it is because how do we know that our character knows that that's what's going to happen? So I kind of want to look at what's going on in a character's life prior to bringing something new into their life. Like, how are they preparing without even knowing it? First off, what are the signs that something new is about to emerge? Because I thought that would be a fun way to look at this. Because I think all too often things pop up in our lives, and then hindsight, we go, oh my God, it's like this all fit together so perfectly. So let's just see what is going on in a character's world who is about to have some new energy come into their life. Seven of Cups in the reverse. Interestingly enough, they don't have a bunch of confusion. There's not a whole lot of conflicting things going on. There's not a whole lot of, scattered energy all over the place. It's more as if a character already has a sense of knowing. There's already some kind of like organization and structure to their life. We have a Seven of Swords and we have a Seven of Coins. Okay, hold on. 777. Talk about some lucky numbers there. They might be seeing repeating numbers. They might be seeing things that are like, there are certain truths that are shining because there are certain things that they know are untrue. So, how do I mean this? The best way to describe this is if our character is getting certain that all kinds of things are clear, it means they're also being able to see untruths that they've told themselves. Basically, I would say a self lie, the kind of lies that we tell ourselves when we say, you know what, I'm totally fine. I'm super satisfied. I don't need anything else in my life. If nothing ever changes, I'll be just fine. And they're like, that's not true. I want to continue to have things in my life that surprise me. Yes, my life is organized, but honestly, I'd be lying if I said I was somehow at this plateau and like nothing needs to ever change. It's almost where somebody has a good life, an organized life, but they also feel restless. To me, that's a sign now that they are ready for something to enter their life. And it makes sense because then we've got that Seven of Pentacles, which is about time for a harvest, it's time for growth. Basically, what I would say is we had a character who probably had a bunch of things to take care of. They worked hard, they tended to all kinds of personal goals, personal things that they had to deal with in life. And now all that work has kind of been checked off their checklist. Like, well, I've created a kind of a stable life for myself. I've created, like a place for myself to live. And honestly, I'm a little bit bored. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't. I want more. And I don't mean to be ungrateful, but I want a little bit more. And it's so funny because that's kind of like that subtle sign and signal that they've reached a place in their life where they've grown a ton and now they have a lot to share. They have a lot that they could be in a really great place to be able to give to, a pet who's going to, if you're raising a baby pet of any creature, babies demand a ton of energy. A baby anything demands a ton of energy. Even if it's an adult or a partner, a new person coming into our lives, we have to be like ready to put our energy into that and not be scattered with our energy in 15 other places, because a relationship takes time to build. The caring and the consideration and the nurturing that goes into something, if it's like a new baby, a new human, a new pet, or a new relationship, doesn't matter what we're talking about, it's going to require a lot of nurturing. So what's interesting is what's happening in the character's life prior to them having this new little energy pop into their life is Their life is actually in a place of kind of a little bit of doldrums, a little bit of boredom. They need the change. They are hungry for the change. They've organized their life. They don't have a ton of things pending and hanging over their head. Instead, they're almost kind of like, God, I'd like something else. I feel like I'm really ready for another growth spurt. And so it's kind of like they need a new challenge. And a challenge might be to bring a new energy into their life. It's going to be a disruptor, right? We're going to have to face new facets about our own character. We're going to have to do different things. Okay, so now let's get to what is this potential new energy that comes into a character's life. Hold on, I want to select a good deck for this. We've got to get something that'll give us plenty of room for communication, plenty of room for interpretation, I should say. Let's go. Yeah, I think this one. I almost grabbed it twice, so we'll go with it. We have a King of Cups in the reverse. So first off, whatever it is could need a lot of emotion. It could be a person, could be a masculine, doesn't have to be, but it's something that is either a bit of a blank slate. Ooh, Wheel of Fortune and the Tower. Again, it says it's just the right time. Whomever or whatever this energy is that steps into our character's life, it is something that needs, it needs the energy that our character has. It's going to be a bit of an emotional, like, I'm hungry, give me emotions. I need to be loved. I need to be nurtured so that then I can grow. But the payoff for this is going to be incredible. It's, this is the divine timing is bringing this, I'll say, character into our lead character's life right now, because it is the right time. There is something that is very serendipitous about right now. It's going to create change. Talk about a disruptor. We've got the Tower. It's going to shake things up. But I love the Tower card because it always says that a rigid way of doing things is going to be like totally destroyed, and that's going to give us more freedom in the way we do things. So let me just go to this deck and say, can we see any more about who this energy is who's coming in? We have the Butcher. It's a character who is probably going to, again, it is very much about disrupting one's life. It's about someone who could cut things into different pieces and really get a chance to look at different segments. This is going to be someone who could be very, if it's a person, it's going to be someone who really assists our character in analyzing things, taking it apart, not looking at it as the greater whole, but looking at, bite-sized pieces of information. This is a character who may have a very different spin on the world. If this is a full-grown adult coming in, then we have Bartender. It's funny because I feel like there's going to be great conversation, right? Everybody says a bartender is everybody's best friend, everybody's therapist, everybody, confides in their bartender and their hairstylist, right? I feel like maybe this is exactly what our character needed, is somebody that is going to be like an intellectual stimulant. Now, they may not have a lot of emotions to give. That could be the thing that our character is ready to give. Like, they've got pent up, stored up energy. Just like if we think about plants, when plants are ready to produce, their fruit or vegetables, that's them, using all that energy, all the nutrients that they have pulled up from the soil, and then they've produced something, and now it's like, please eat me. Because if you have even like a peach tree with too many peaches on, it's going to break its own little limbs because the fruit gets so heavy. It's like, please, birds come and eat me, humans come and pick me, bees come in and eat me. Like, that's what the fruit is there for. And I feel like our lead character has reached a point where they have developed like a lot to offer, and they actually want to give the fruit of everything that they've learned, the energy that they're not currently spending doing tons of other things in their life. They want to give it to someone. They want to give that harvest to someone. So it's going to be perfect that this character is actually coming in not necessarily with a ton of abundance in emotions. They're going to be hungry for emotions. That's what they're missing, but they're going to be really great at bringing in dialogue, conversation, looking at the world through a different lens. So it's interesting how I think this is going to be quite a give and take, right? It's going to be quite an energy of like, I do have something to offer you. It's going to nourish you. Meanwhile, you have something to offer me. It's going to nourish me. I feel like this is kind of a almost like symbiotic relationship. And then because Monica, when you made the suggestion for this particular storytelling, you said if a character were preparing for like a new pet, I'd want to also take a look at it specifically from the realm of the pet world for just a minute, just to honor that full request, because I feel like that's another great thing. There's a lot that we do. When we're bringing in a new pet, unless they just kind of a stray just comes and finds us and they move into our lives, and all of a sudden it's like, well, we're figuring this out on the fly. But I still want to ask if there we go. If a pet is about to enter into somebody's world, what kind of preparation is going on in a character's life for that? We've got a 6 of cups and it's in the reverse. This suggests that the time that somebody may get a pet in particular could be at a time when they have completed a journey with a soulmate, and it leaves an open spot in their heart or their soul where they want to invite in another soulmate. And if they are longing for one, I have to say, pets are soulmates for sure. Or at least my dog feels very much like he definitely has a soul. There's no doubt about that. And the bond that I have with him is unlike any I've had with any other pet. And it was there from day one. And I have to say, I think this is interesting because it's less about how someone is preparing and more about what were the conditions that pre-existed a character choosing to bring a pet into their life or to have a pet show up in their world. And I'm not going to say that it's that somebody was heartbroken, but I am going to say that it was a person, a character who perhaps has a vacancy to bring in a soulmate, someone. And soulmates to me are those groups of souls that we learn the most with. And oftentimes they give us great comfort, and they're, our best friends. And still we can, go through a cycle with someone, and then that cycle closes, and then we have space to bring in a new soulmate. I really like that message on that one. That's really sweet. And we have a 5 of Wands. We also have a situation where our character is not blocking this. They are not in a place where they are looking for a difficult, like, let me go learn a lesson. If the conditions that exist before they wind up bringing a new pet into their lives is, I think it's very open-hearted. They want, it doesn't mean that pets don't test us and make us learn things, but are we going to butt head to head with a pet? No. A pet is going to be, a creature that we know they don't have thumbs, so it's our job to do a bunch of stuff for them. But what they give us in return is that, those beautiful little eyes that look up at you, and they're so happy that you're their person, and there's just so much ease. It's not really a relationship of conflict. It's not a relationship of, okay, we gotta, they're gonna stress me and test me to my max to like argue with me and things like that. Although I will say a blue healer, which is what I have, they can actually argue with you. It's quite hilarious, in the most sweet way you'll ever see. As long as you understand this breed, he's got a job to do and he's going to do it. Sometimes I have to listen to him, is what he thinks. It's pretty cute. But this is like, if a character is ready to bring in a pet, it's because they are in a place where they want a low conflict soulmate relationship. This is going to be one that's very fulfilling, and it's going to, I'm going to say, even fill a gap, fill a hole that a former soulmate has left behind. So they're ready for a different kind of a soulmate energy. And, like I said, I always think that soulmate stuff is, Um, some are the friends that we'll keep that are going to be there for us in times of sorrow. Some soulmates are going to be the people that we learn, humility with. We have to forgive each other a lot. It's easier to do because it's a loving bond, but it's not like a maybe the same level as like a super intense romantic bond where we have higher expectations. It can also be a soulmate can be somebody that a character, literally it's their greatest adversary who challenges them to strive to become a better version of themselves, stronger, faster, Um, but it can also just be that companionship, that kindness. And I feel like that's what our character is ready for is I have a space in my life. I've ended a cycle with one soulmate. They're out of my world. And I really want a kinder, gentler soulmate energy to come in. And that is why when they're in that head and heart space, that's where it's time for that pet is what this looks like. So I don't know. I think that was kind of sweet. I think it was kind of a little bit touching, and I think it kept looking at the balance and the head space and heart space that a character may be in as they are bringing in a new energy into their lives. It came across as we didn't get to the nuts and bolts of what are they going to go buy, what are they going to go shopping for, a dog bed, a this that, because it's not really the direction I thought this should maybe take. And sure enough, it didn't really come up with like itemized stuff. It was more about the energy and the flow. And so I don't know, that fits for the collective for me. You guys, thanks so much for hanging out with me. Every single day, these collective messages will be vastly different. I have my own deck that I pull from if you guys are not giving me suggestions, but I love to leave it open because it's so fun to be able to have. I like nothing that you guys have suggested have been in my cards. So it's been really awesome for me to be like, oh, these are really awesome. There's a couple things that were kind of similar. But for the most part, I think only like I had ones about past life and things like that in there. But yeah, you guys have been so creative and it's so wonderful. So if you have a topic that you'd like, feel free to jot it down. Otherwise, I will use my own deck and we'll go with my mystery questions. But thanks so much for being here, you guys, and take care. I'll see you again in the next one tomorrow. Bye.